Put it in sport and let's floor it.
I'm trying the halal eggs Benedict.
I like how you clarified it.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is how quick you get ready for a podcast. You throw on a blazer on a chill outfit.
That was one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done.
And that's kind of a typical life as a forex trader slash podcaster slash entrepreneur living in Dubai. Okay, ladies and gents, welcome back to another day of the vlog. It is Wednesday, new day, new podcast, new trading day, new watch on. There we go, ladies and gents, welcome back to another vlog, a normal day in the life. So let me just jump in here and say why I mentioned the watch. I don't know why I mentioned about the watch, but as you guys have probably seen from my Instagram, Twitter and so forth, I have a big watch collection. I love watches. I'm not into cars. I'm not too much into fashion. I hate big designer logos. I think people that wear these Gucci, Prada, Lala logos, you end up looking like a Formula 1 car. Watches are classy, elegant, timeless, and I do like to invest in them. And this watch specifically is a graduation piece. So when I was graduating university in 2021, after 6 years of dentistry, I wanted to reward myself, and this is an AP Audemars Piguet. It's a model called a Code. It's a chronograph. It's rose gold. It's quite a decent complication, and that was the first AP I actually got after then going on to build a collection with a few more pieces. So let's break down yesterday's trade. So in the end, EU, the positions we took last night, end up going to the final TP, which is great. I usually don't like taking New York trades because then, you know, it has to play through Asia when the volatility kicks off. So it's not my ideal trade, but it just so happened it was. So it's nice to see that hit TP on the vlog. And then today, we're coming into our London session. We'll see what trades we have for the day, but apart from that, we're gonna go to the Porsche Cafe with the boys, something different, and then we have a special guest for the podcast, a gentleman, a YouTuber, a gym influencer you may have seen called Rob Lipsit. Let's break down the charts. Okay, so yesterday, if you remember, we spoke about this bearish push that led to previous day's run of liquidity, and then we ended up buying in the New York window. Not preferred because it's counter trend and so forth, but that led to a proper move now. So yesterday's supply, which we mentioned on the vlog, the preferred area, that's where prices come to now. This is the nearest POI or area of interest, and it might line up with my London Open. So if anything to trade today, it will be somewhere in this zone after these manipulations, and I want to see lower time frame confirmations in London Open, targeting all of this trend line liquidity, all of that liquidity and Asia low. So that's kind of a setup we can foresee. Price in that area, we've taken full profit on this position, 1 to 10, so 6.5% locked in, as our TP protocol shows. So let's go and head over to the Porsche Cafe, but before we do, I'm just going to give you a quick outline on something cool, which is build up of liquidity, run of liquidity, break of structure. Who is that inviting in? Smart money traders. And it's cool to see we get on Frankfurt Open, as always, the inducement low to then take out the smart money traders. So we've seen a nice smart money trap, taking Asia high liquidity, smart money liquidity into supply. I'm going to look for lower time frame confirmations with my London Open to jump in a trade. And until then, let's go get some coffee. Okay, so yeah, actually coincidentally, before we got to have our coffee, the traders given the entry I wanted, so let's talk about it. We had the smart money trap, which I mentioned, then we had the supply zone. So once we come into the supply zone, when we have build up of liquidity, run of liquidity, break of structure, mitigation, it's my favorite entry type. The only difference is it wasn't in my London Open exactly. It's about 15 minutes before, which is okay. I give myself a 20-30 minute buffer, plus or minus my London window. So this is now actually, as we're filming it, gone break even. And then my partials, as always, 1 to 3 risk reward, 50%, 1 to 10 risk reward, full volume. So let's see how this plays out when London volume kicks in. We have now hit the break even. So let's see, but in the meantime, let's go get a coffee and see how this trade plays out. But now that we're break even, the session is basically done. There's no more work to be done. So now we can go and do some other work and hang out.
What are we waiting for right now?
Yeah, we're waiting for a car, man. He looks lost.
I can see him all the way over there. What's up?
Okay, whilst we're on the way to Driven by Porsche, it's the cafe on Blue Water Island, I gave a signal on Twitter. So it's not quite a signal yet, it's a sell idea. So I've explained the reason I want to take the trade. I've sent a diagram, what I'm waiting for, the blue line being the roadmap, and then also some confluences. If it does trigger, then I'll give it as an exact signal. And hopefully that aligns with the time by the time we're over at the cafe. Put it in sport and let's floor it. Okay, so as we've been driving to the cafe, we've realized it's had the run of liquidity and a strong break of structure in our time window, perfectly on London Open. So I'm going to give this as a signal on Twitter with stop loss and entry, as I have been for this week 11. We're 40% up. Let's see where this trade goes. The only issue is it's already melting, and sometimes you'll get a trade where it does the inducement and just melts without coming back for an entry. So if this goes away a lot further, then I'm just going to invalidate it, because it's unlikely to come all the way down, all the way back up, and then all the way down again. So I kind of wanted to tap in within the next 10 minutes. If it doesn't, then I'll invalidate the signal. But yeah, let me just post this on Twitter, and then we'll see if we get an execution. Okay, so something you might not know about me, I went from a non-coffee drinker, or I hated the taste, until I did like GCSEs, A-level, then I got addicted to it. Now what I've been doing is, I have a very addictive personality, so I'll go to a coffee spot and have the same coffee for 6 months until I hate it. There's a place called Arabica, which we went to earlier in the week. They have a Spanish latte there, and it reminds me of my Spain days. It's super like condensed milk, sugary. After 6 months, got sick of that. Then I started doing the dark latte. Dark latte was for like 6 months, and I got sick of that. And then this is the new one. It's a coconut latte. So it has coconut ice cream, coconut flakes, coconut milk, and coffee. Sounds kind of weird, like pineapple on pizza, but it really works. Yeah, actually, you guys try this as well.
Really?
Shake, please give it a try.
I will gracefully accept.
Okay, so the signal we gave has now become invalidated because it's come to demand first before it's come to supply. So the first trade we took before we went to the cafe ended up being a break-even position. I mentioned what we were looking for an entry. We got the entry where it was the inducement and then break of structure within the acceptable buffer, plus or minus 30 minutes of my key window. I took the trade and then price went in my direction. I had my break-even protocol and then price reversed, hit break-even, no problem. But we're still in the key window. So when I see price does an inducement of the whole zone, I know that initial area where I even took an entry was too early. When we see after the fact that prices come, given a small reaction, then induce people out, that means we are hunting for more liquidity. Now, sometimes we know when there's going to be an inducement to trap out early sellers, but other times we won't be able to see it. So we fast break even so we're not victim to it, and that's how we avoided a loss. But then when we allow price to develop in the key window and then price takes out the supply zone, does another build up inducement and also takes out the previous inducement zone, and then the smart money trap earlier on within the Asia session, all of these things are looking quite nice, and that was why I was looking to give a signal on Twitter. But the problem is the efficiency of the pullback is a concept we have, and that's an invalidation. That's the reason we cannot enter a trade, and that's why I'm not entering this trade right here, even though it's fitting the criteria: time window, inducement, supply zone taken out, all of the good things we like to see. Invalidation is invalidation, and that's actually what I always say: a restricted trader is a profitable trader. And it's important because sometimes our restrictions mean we miss good trades. That's okay. Our restrictions are there to optimize our trading, so long term we are profitable. And I know one of my non-negotiables is time window, another one of my non-negotiables is lower time frame confirmation, another one of my non-negotiables is this, for example, efficiency of the pullback. I have a few of my absolute requirements to enter a trade, and I also have my absolute non-negotiables that if it presents, I cannot enter a trade, this being one of them. And that's one of my invalidation criteria right here. Price did an inducement of Asia high and also a smart money trap and also a supply zone. Great inducements, and on the minute, which is great to see, bang on the minute, and then we had a break of structure, but now it's come to this demand level, and now it's too late. So if it comes up to this supply, who's to say it's not just going to go and make a higher high? So that was me just saying, okay, invalidated. I send the invalidation on Twitter. But now when I come down to a lower time frame, so I was saying briefly earlier to Nagy, because he was asking, what is, for example, this is a valid trade to take based on the internal BOS, whereas I like to wait for a full break of structure. So then you got to know, like, what is your boundary? So this right here is the low in the market, and then when this is the higher high, higher low, higher high, and then this is the internal break of structure, internal lower low, and then this is the full break of structure. So the signal I gave was on a full break of structure. A trade like this on the internal BOS, Alex would take, and it's valid. It's just not within my risk appetite. So it's a valid setup, and this would have actually, you know, would be like 1 to 4 risk reward up right now. But you take that right there, stop loss at the high, so it's a sharp stop loss, about 2 pips. So a valid trade, and it's already now left without us. We couldn't get in based on the more confirmed entry of a full break of structure. So there's 2 reasons I don't like this trade. I'm not a fan of internal break of structure. It's valid, it's within the strategy, there's positive data for it. I just don't like doing it. I like to wait for a full break of structure. Secondarily, I don't like 2 pip stop losses. I think my limit and cutoff is 3 to 7 pips. That's my acceptable range. So that's why, for those reasons, I didn't enter a trade in the way I'm saying. Rather, I wanted a full break of structure and then price to return and give me that entry that I normally like. On some days it'll come, on some days it won't. On certain situations you might be thinking, well, Carl, why don't you just jump in? Well, we don't take a decision of a strategy on a 1 trade sample size. We look on 1,000 trade sample size, and on my decision making of my strategy, I have done sample testing of a large amount. Therefore, the decisions I make are based on data, not just on my subjective opinion. So be it, as we always say, and has been in the motto of this vlog, a restricted trader is a profitable trader. We stayed disciplined, we follow our rules, and now we have an invalidation, so we stick to our rules. And for now, we'll just get on with some other work. But it's cool to see that there was a valid entry, just not for my risk appetite, but from a technical perspective, you could have also got in potentially.
So you're on live right now?
Yeah, I'm on IG live right now. I'm just breaking down the trade, so let's actually, yeah, let's go through it. We have 164 people right now. Well, guys, if you want to say anything to the vlog, drop it in the comments. Anything for the vlog, we have it here. live on camera. If anybody says when I'm getting married, I'm just gonna end the live. Okay, so we have about 170 people on the live, and I'm just gonna break down the trades that have been taken. I did a live yesterday covering the buy that I took, and now I'm gonna cover this sell that we missed, and I'll explain to the Instagram family why we missed that trade. I'm at a cafe right now. I'm doing a vlog actually, a week in the life, let's say. So all of my trades of the week, all of my analysis of the week, and then the kind of stuff I get up to. Nagi, man. There's been a running joke going on between the guys in the team, just asking me every day when I'm gonna get married. Don't get camera shy. Shayan over here, he's the man behind the vlogs. He's got a cool page, and then over here we have the Prince of Dubai or something like that. Prince of Dubai, yeah. This is Nagi, is our main editor, the man behind the magic on the YouTube channel. So he just came back from Umrah, which is why he's dressed very befitting. For the culture. Yeah, you balance out the haram in the group and the halal. Yo.
Alright, enough Forex for a bit. What are you eating?
Bro, we're having, I missed home, I missed England, can you believe it? You know, I like this spot, so hopefully, because now we've revealed it online, that you guys don't all come running here. But it's got very good food, it's a very open space. I guess Sham will show you the inside in a bit. And then we have a masjid right here in the background. And this masjid is really cool. It's around Blue Water Island, which is like a private island, it's a man-made island. And there's no hotels here apart from one, Caesar's Palace. So you don't get the same tourists, because there's no hotels, no tourism, just these apartments. And then we have this masjid, which is like a ecological, green friendly masjid, and it's super beautiful inside. So we end up coming, thank you very much, boss. We end up coming here quite often, just using it as a workstation, just to get out of the house sometimes. Because when you're always working from home, it does get a bit repetitive, so we try and mix it up. Yeah, we got a big feast ahead of us.
I'm trying the halal eggs Benedict.
I like how you clarified it.
Yeah, halal eggs Benedict with the halal bacon. And yeah, man.
So I have now just executed a trade. I didn't give it as a signal. So as I mentioned a few times, signals I'll give are like very high quality setup, and I want to have my public signals at a 60 to 70% win rate. My personal win rate, I like to keep at 45 to 55, around there, because I know I can handle this lower win rate, and I know I can play the risk reward game. So I will take lower probability setup. So one pet peeve that I see a lot online is this idea of track record. People are talking about, where's your MyFX book, where's your broker statements, where's this, where's that, where's this, where's that. What I've always found is everything can be faked. MyFX book can be faked because people use an unregulated broker, or they'll use one of those brokers that is just a white label where you can fudge the back end. By the way, I have shown a MyFX book, I have shown a track record. On this YouTube channel, you'll see a 400 trade track record, not a random sample size, no, 400 trades. And I also show the dollar amount. So okay, that's my proof, but I don't even like to promote that too much, because there's always going to be someone saying, but what about this, what about that? Even prop firm certificates can be faked, and you maybe don't know this, but I found out by speaking to a lot of trading influencers that some of the prop firms will give you fake certificates so that you promote their firm and make them seem like they pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, and you'll even have the QR code to scan it and go to the website to verify the certificate, but you know that the prop firm has faked it behind the scenes. Another trick people do is they'll spend $50,000 on challenges and maybe get $30,000 in payouts. So they actually lost money, but then the payout certificate only shows $30,000 in profit. So there's always smoke and mirrors, there's always scams and tricks in the industry. That's why the approach I've taken to verify myself is live signals, live call outs. No one can fake that. And again, some of the signals I'm giving, they're getting 50,000 to 100,000 views. And I've said to anyone, call me out. If I've edited a tweet, if I've messed with anything, if I've deleted a tweet that was a losing trade, anything like that, call me out. Not a single person can, because I've shown every single trade for the last 4 months. Wins and losses, my buys and sells, every single trade I take with my MT4 before and after, my execution idea, the actual entry and stop loss, my whole reasoning, and then live updates. This is as transparent as you can get. And some people on the internet say, well, calling the market is one thing. Calling the market like, oh, I'm looking for a buy here. I'm saying, I'm going to buy right now based on XYZ. Here's my reasonings. Here's my entry. This is full transparency. And then not just 1 or 2 trades here and there. Every single trade for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 10 weeks, months and months on end, and then 40% profit at the end of it. This is true transparency, and no one can deny that. This is what I've been doing, and this is my legacy piece. And there are certain places I would deviate away from my confirmation checklist. One thing I won't deviate away from is lower time frame confirmations. So right now we had the context of inducement pre-Frankfurt, and then inducement during our London Open on the minute. That London Open on the minute did a build-up, inducement, and then came all the way to this previous demand. So look at the power of timing. I always say this, and again, when you test it for months and months on end, when you see thousands of examples of time-based manipulation, look how this is not random. This is bang on the 2nd of London Open. That's not a coincidence. These kind of things, time-based manipulation is super key, which is why one of my non-negotiables is time window. Smart money trap and supply zone run of liquidity. So this is a strong inducement that we're using. And then when price came to this demand area, the previous inducement zone, it did a build-up, inducement, mitigation, push out. But now when it's come to this supply area once again, so basically we're trading between inducements, between this inducement and this inducement. We're between 1 and 2. So when we're having this, we don't know what to do. We use our lower time frame to confirm the zone. So when it came into that supply area, what I did was, I did it on M1, but the 30-second will show it best. I don't recommend we trade the 30-second, but just to give the context, it's the same thing again and again. We find the supply zone from low to high, perfect, and then what we do is we wait for build up of liquidity, inducement, which we got, and then break of structure over here to make a lower low, taking out the previous high low that made a high high, goes on to make a lower low, and we just find an execution like so. I put the stop loss over here at the previous banker block, we call it. So now that we have protection over here, it's a very small stop loss, 2.5 pips, right at the limit, the border of my lowest stop loss, and then the break-even point will be right here, which is fast approaching, break-even being on an M1 shift, so it's already floated quite nice. This could be a trade. I don't see longevity in it. I would want to see the New York window to present the main trade, but let's see how this presents. Okay, so following on, we are now in that trade, and it's also gone a little bit into profit. So I want to show exactly what's going on. So not only did we have that small inducement that I mentioned, internal break of structure, mitigation, and now going lows, we left equal lows as a liquidity pool. So that's also interesting to see. What I notice is price comes in and gives a reaction off that imbalance zone. And then what it also does, it does a final minor inducement right here, maintaining my original stop loss. Obviously I put my stop loss a bit higher to protect myself because it was just 2 pips, but now it's coming lower and it's going to break this level very shortly. Once it breaks that level, it can start to attack this level of demand. If it breaks that, then we can go for Asia low. So basically saying there's longevity in this trade, which is brilliant to see, and nice risk reward because it is a tight zone. So we can kind of let this run now, break even, everything cool. And now we have a podcast to film with Rob Lipset, so we're gonna head over there now. This is how quick you get ready for a podcast. You throw on a blazer on a chill outfit, and it goes from chill to professional real quick. We're looking fresh, ready to shoot.
Always a safe bet.
So we're going to deep dive into business, your life, traveling, a lot of things.
Everything. Awesome.
Let's jump in, bro. Let's do this.
Dude, shit, we got the G-Wagon and all. All right,
Okay, ladies and gents, so we are joined by someone I've been following for the best part of a decade. I've seen his whole journey, so you know this is almost a surreal moment where it's been someone I've been watching on the internet, getting me through Ramadan when I'm watching the 10K salaries, when I'm procrastinating my exams, I'm watching his videos. So it's cool to see his journey, his come up, and I have a lot of respect for him. So now to be sitting opposite and having an interview is going to be very fun. And Rob, I want to see, are you going to be here in Dubai long term, or are you going to be running off back to Spain where I used to be as well?
So no return flight booked.
Okay,
I like to book a flight like 2 days before it takes off. I just find it easier to do that. But first of all, you know, thanks so much for the opportunity, the setup, picking me up in the G-Wagon. We even just had a great conversation.
Yeah, man, that should have been the pod.
I'm trying to save it for the pod. I know it's going to be good. But look, thank you so much for today, and I'm really excited.
Let's do it.
R.I.P. to sit to put your hands up, reach for the roof if you know you fuck with me. Don't like squares in my crew. If I call you my brother, then you best believe you're stuck with me.
Rob, thank you for coming on, man.
How are you? Put it there, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
The average American is fat and broke. They're living paycheck to paycheck and they're overweight. So if you are in decent shape and have a solid enough income, you are a 1% man. If you're watching this podcast, you're probably in the top percentage anyways. Because most people are just droning through life and they're not even thinking. If you want to sell programs, you got to have some sexy secret magic. Hey, follow this carnivore diet. Veganism is the way to ultimate health. Oh, you need to eat only raw foods. You can't cook your foods. It's all these wacky approaches because they're sound bites, they sound interesting, and it'll let people believe, oh, this is what I've been doing wrong. You cut out carbs. Oh, it was the carbs that was making me fat. No, you just cut out an entire food group so your calories have been slashed.
Talk to me about Jordan Peterson. Beef and water diet only.
It's terrible diet advice, and 99.9% of people do not need to follow this approach. When you're building business, you find your person, your avatar, and then you build it all around them. So people get it backwards. They try to build a product first, and they say, hey guys, all right, it's time for money. Hey, where's all the customers? So instead, provide value first, find your customer avatar, and then say, oh, I'm gonna build a product around them.
So in the industry, I've noticed this whole like natty, not natty topic was like very, oh, let's not talk about it. And then a few people started to say, oh, I'm actually not natty. And then they got a lot of respect for it. So then what would you say is the best way to spot a fake natty?
So you gotta look at...
Boom! That was awesome, man. Boom! I'm pumped.
You're really good, because when you're getting fired up, you know this is going to be a clip.
Yeah.
You know that, okay, this is probably a clip question. Yeah. Let me answer it in a
Yeah, there was actually a moment there where I stopped and went back and rephrased it. But that was one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done. Like honestly, that was fantastic. What I was so impressed at there as well, you didn't even have notes or anything. Look there.
It's because I've been watching you. I had a familiarity that I didn't need to research. Let's say it was like catching up with an old friend. One-sided, let's say.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that and could have kept going.
Rob, what's your favourite car?
I'm not even making this up. It's a G-Wagon.
Oh,
it's my dream car. Right, so I'm nerding out right now. I'm having a good time.
Oh yeah.
Dubai is unreal, man.
People are like, there's no culture. I'm like, there's the culture. Like what?
Epic shit.
I'm like, by that sense, New York doesn't have any culture either.
Make me the start of the paragon. Start of the halagon. Cause you know say my people they calagon. Ogulo makbawa. As I hate in on
Welcome, bro. Thank you for your time. And it was good to meet you. You're not like the guy we didn't mention in the meeting you in real life.
Figure it out in the comments who that is. But look,
yeah,
I
bro,
appreciate today from picking me up in the G-Wagon, being such a good host, having probably the best conversation that I've had on this trip. Good feeling.
And now if you're going to a date night, hey.
There we go. There you go. Come and meet your wife.
One day, hey, don't do this, Rob.
Absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure.
Man, thank you so much.
So Rob Lipsett, what a legend, huge in the social media space, hundreds of thousands of followers. I've been following him for like 5, 7, 8 years, watching a lot of his YouTube videos back when I was in the gym days. Not so much these days, but I'm trying to get back into it. He's got great energy, great podcast, great entrepreneur in general. So Rob, you're a legend, man. Thank you for the opportunity, and it was very cool, and see you out in Dubai soon. So yeah, guys, epic vlog today. Rob's energy was so high that I'm feeling like I want to do more stuff. But yeah, the trade we were taking earlier on in the day, so it did come back to our 1 to 3 partial points, which is perfect because we have an objective exit point, and it just so happened it went exactly to our partial and then ended up reversing on us in the pod. The rest of the volume was break even, so we got 1 to 3 risk reward, 1.5% locked in, half volume. The remaining half of the volume that we were hoping to get the 1 to 10 went back to break even, so 1.5% locked in. Yesterday's trade 6.5% locked in, and for the week no losses. But Monday, Tuesday we had to sit on our hands, so overall a very good week so far. Consistent slow gains and a strong win rate. And now we'll see as we've come into the New York window if there's anything to take, but basically we're done for the day. So the rest of the evening is just going to be the boys hanging out and yeah, getting on with some other work. But yeah, cheers. So this is the power of my partial protocol system. I've said it so many times, where a profitable trader is someone who's right. But if you can make money when you're wrong, that's when it becomes really powerful. And that's what's happened here. A lot of the time I'll be wrong. I thought the market was going to go lower. The market went lower for a little bit and then went higher. But that portion where it did go lower, I locked in a profit. And it's happened so many times where I've been wrong all week, but then I still made 5% profit. It's because I'm accumulating these small wins. That's why I think it's more powerful than swing trading, because for swing trading, you've got to be right long term to make real money. In this way of trading, in my way of trading, I can be wrong a lot of the times and still make good money. And when I look at my total P&L at the end of the month, let's say I made $50,000. Out of that $50,000, maybe $30,000 will be from these small partials when I was wrong. And that's so powerful, because when you can make profit when you're wrong, and then you have a good strategy and good entry criteria, and you have an edge, and you are right a lot of the time also, and a positive win rate, positive risk reward, not only will you make money on your winning trades, you'll make money on your not so good trades. Those break-even trades, you lock something in, and that's why I formulated my strategy of a partial protocol system. Okay, ladies and gents, that was a fun week, typical week in the life with trading. You saw all the live trades that we do, break-even wins and losses, the full process behind the scenes, including giving some signals on Twitter. Then we also have the podcast, getting involved with that, and then some weeks we're going to the studio to film the YouTube videos for you guys. If not, then it's a podcast, and then just hanging around Dubai, networking, meeting people, and just general work. And that's kind of a typical life as a forex trader slash podcaster slash entrepreneur living in Dubai. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and catch you in the next one.